And today we're going to find out more about May. It is Huntington's Disease Awareness Month, and joining us on Good Things is Miss Louise Vetter. She's president and CEO of Huntington's Disease Society of America. We also have Heather Thurgood. She's the director of the inaugural Mississippi Team Hope Walk in the studio with us. So we're going to kick it off with Miss Louise. Hey, Louise.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I am doing well. So May is a big month for you guys. It's that time to get out and bring awareness to Huntington's disease. And I feel like each time I have a conversation about it, I learn something new, and I'm able to spread that on. So that's always a good thing. So tell us about the Society of America. What do you guys do there at HDSA?
Yeah, so I love that you learn a little bit more about Huntington's disease every year, because that's exactly why we recognize May as HD Awareness Month. Huntington's disease is a rare hereditary disease. It affects about 40,000 Americans symptomatically, and it's a brain disease that over time shows symptoms that an individual will lose their ability to walk, talk, think, and reason because of how the gene that causes Huntington's disease affects somebody's brain. So because it's hereditary, if one of your parents had Huntington's disease, you have a 50-50 chance of inheriting that gene and developing the symptoms of the disease. So if it's not in your family, most folks don't know about Huntington's disease. And that's why we take the opportunity each May to try and talk about the journey that families affected by HD are going through and help to try and encourage more folks to get involved.
And when there's more awareness and more folks are getting involved, like the upcoming walk that we'll have for the first time ever here in Mississippi, you have more money raised. More money raised means more research done. When more research is done, Louise, that means we get hopefully more and better treatments. And although there's not a cure for Huntington's, they've come a long way in the last couple of decades.
Absolutely. Awareness brings improved care and support for the families, and that drives the science. And the science is what can improve quality of life. Right now, there are some treatments that can help manage the symptoms, but we're still trying to crack that nut and figure out how to really slow down the course of the disease and hopefully one day cure it. So that's why we do so much with families just like Heather to raise awareness of HD, encourage folks to come out and get involved, and every single dollar that's raised makes a huge difference in developing a healthier tomorrow for folks affected by HD.
Now, Heather, there was a time in your life you probably knew what Huntington's was, but you didn't know it in a personal sort of way until you met your lovely husband, Nathan. Give us a little bit of background about your story, your personal story.
Well, with us, I had actually not ever heard of Huntington's until I met Nathan's sister. She and I were friends first, and we joke and say that she pushed me into Nathan because she and my best friend from high school set us up, and they would talk about their mom, and I would hear stories from Crystal about things that had happened with their mom. And then as Nathan and I started dating and so on, I would find out more. And of course, you never think it's going to happen to you. Oh, I know this chance, but you never think it's going to happen to you. And well, it did for us. And we told family and friends, but it was about a good 6 months to a year before we put it out there on social media. But as soon as we got it, I just tried to soak up everything I could. And one of the reasons why Nathan and I had been wanting to try to do a walk from the first year that he got diagnosed, because not long after he got diagnosed, HDSA and Teva offered these spoons. I meant to bring it with me today because I wanted you to see it. It is called the Liftwear Level, and it is phenomenal. It doesn't matter what way Nathan turns his hands, that spoon never flips. And from that moment on, we knew we wanted to do something to give back, because those things are not cheap. They're like $200-$300 spoons.
Right.
And so we wanted to be involved, and thankfully HDSA has allowed us to, so much so that next month, when Louise and the rest of the bunch with HDSA are hosting the annual convention, they actually asked us or me to be a part of helping plan that. And that just, was phenomenal to me that they felt like I was okay enough to do that. But, we're just really excited. Nathan's really excited about the walk. And every so often it's like, now, poor thing, he has Huntington's, and he's quick to tell you, I have Huntington's. But he'll go, honey, when's our wheelchair race again? You mean the walk? Yeah, when's that? Well, we've got about 3 weeks now. Okay, so when are we going to Georgia and meeting everybody like us? Well, it's in about a month. So, we just wanted to give back, and we wanted people to not feel as alone as we did when Nathan got diagnosed, because we knew absolutely no one who was like us. And I'm going to cry on this part probably, because I usually do. When Nathan, our son, ate a Tide Pod the night before, I was in the hospital at Blair Batson with him, and Nathan had to go across the street to get his diagnosis with his sister. They got back to the hospital room, and the first thing I told Nathan was, your walk with Huntington's will not be your mom's, and my walk with Huntington's will not be your dad's. And we've made a special effort to make sure that it hasn't been, and that we can try to help others along the way. I'm sorry, I take up a lot of time, don't I?
No, but I think this is part of it, and Louise would probably second. It's the stories like yours and Nathan's that inspires us all just to get to know it a little bit more, because, Louise, even if you don't have someone in your own family that's walking through Huntington's, knowing more about it can help you better support your neighbors and better support your community, because, the caregivers as well as those family, they need us.
That's perfectly said. And I just listening to Heather talk and talk about her journey and journey with Nathan. Heather's a force of nature, right? And so the ability to say, we're going to create a different future. We're going to come together and we're going to build a new community. We're going to create a Team Hope Walk in Mississippi where there's never been one before. We're going to create support groups and connect to care, and we're going to create change. She constantly underestimates the power, that telling your story and coming together brings. And that's really what we try and do at HDSA is give families like Heather's and Nathan's the ability to connect and take control of their health inheritance. So, to break through that isolation and to create positive change. And that's why it's Team Hope, because we are so hopeful that tomorrow will be better, that the next generation will have a better journey with Huntington's disease than the quality of life that we're able to maintain today, and that we're making progress. And that starts with coming together. It starts with being strong and supporting one another. And from there, we can chart our way to a healthier future. And HD families know that better than any other. And it's why we're excited to come to Georgia in June and really be able to shine a spotlight on folks like Heather and members of HD families who just do amazing things every day. You hear the story about the spoon, right? How difficult it is with serious movement associated with Huntington's disease to be able to do simple things like feed yourself. And that means there's a lot of work to be done so that all families can access resources like that. And, ideally, right, we can treat those symptoms and improve quality of life. So there's a lot to be done, and we get to do it better when we work together.
And working together is part of what happened to create this walk. Heather, we keep talking about it. When is it?
It is May 21st at Lakeshore Park in Brandon. We'll start about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're kind of being a little laid back on this one because we've never done it before, and I've never been involved with a walk ever. And
wheelchair race.
Yeah, wheelchair race.
That's for Nathan.
That's for Nathan. But I sometimes tell my folks at HDSA, McCall and Melissa, who are holding both of my hands on this, I'm like, are you guys crazy? You should have picked someone else. And they're like, no, you're doing so well. And I'm like, no, I just, but you can go online and you can donate there. You can start a team, or day of, feel free to come just join us. Because we would, any and everyone, we made a point to make sure that it would be an accessible park for wheelchairs and just, we just welcome everyone.
It's going to be a great day, and we're going to learn more about that in HDSA and Huntington's coming up next. Hang with us, Louise. Find out more, head on over to supertalktv.com. You'll see we're continuing our conversation with Miss Louise Vetter. She's president and CEO of Huntington's Disease Society of America, better known as HDSA, and Miss Heather Thurgood. She is director of the inaugural Mississippi Team Hope Walk, which is coming up May 21st to bring awareness and raise funds for Huntington's. And Louise, we were just talking about how it really does take us all to sort of bring up this support and to bring up, the awareness around it. And when it comes to families either not knowing it was in their family line or how to sort of handle that, what kind of support is there for anyone looking just to learn more about Huntington's?
The HDSA website, hdsa.org, is a fantastic resource to provide basic information about what Huntington's disease is, but also for folks who think it might be in their family or are pursuing a diagnosis by working with a neurologist. It provides really practical information about what the symptoms of HD are, what resources are available to families, and really we encourage folks who are beginning a journey with Huntington's disease to find a specialist, someone who truly understands what it means to care for this rare brain disease, to help guide them through it. Huntington's disease, from the time the first symptoms start to, ultimately the end of the journey with the disease, can go on for 10 to 20 years. So it's really important to have the right care partners, and that means a knowledgeable neurologist, a social worker, very often a genetic counselor to help families who are pursuing testing for folks who might be at risk for the disease, occupational therapy, physical therapy. It really takes a village to care for a family affected by HD. So our website and our organization is committed to making sure that families can find those villages all across the nation. And Heather and her family have been a part of support groups that also help connect families so that they can learn and support one another on that journey to be healthy.
And I know here in Mississippi, we can toot because we have a center of excellence at the University of Mississippi Medical Center, which I know, Heather, was like a godsend for you and your family.
Yeah, it really was. We got lucky. A lot of people are not as lucky or blessed as we were on our medical journey. And before UMMC became that center of excellence, we actually met our doctor, Dr. Joybin Wong, that he runs the clinic there. And, he knew we had a heart for research. And so he told us about Enroll HD. We end up at another facility, which is UAB, and they were a center of excellence. And UAB and UMMC worked together to help UMMC become that center of excellence. And Dr. Wong could tell you a whole lot more about the process than I can. But just knowing, we've met people from our state that there was one girl that she's like, I thought that we were supposed to have this great place, and we were supposed to that Huntington's awareness was coming here, and we just saw this doctor. I'm like, whoa. You didn't see the right doctor. And after they got connected with Dr. Wong, it was like a whole world opened up for them. And that's how, when you find that right medical team and those people that know what Huntington's is, it's just a whole different level and a whole different world for someone that's dealing with Huntington's.
I know, Heather, too, you've put together Facebook groups as well as other sort of support groups. It feels like you've really taken a leadership role for other families who find themselves on this journey, but how important are those support groups to you, even if you're the one dictating out where you should go and who you should see, which, hey, look, that's my personality. I totally get that.
Like from the get-go, we just, compared to now from when we first got Nathan's diagnosis, and I say we got diagnosed a lot because it is a family disease. It's just absolutely, we need to have people who we can relate to. And Nathan can relate to others. And this is why we're so excited about convention, too, is to meet other people like us, for me to meet other caregivers. As a matter of fact, on the Zoom calls, and I hope Miss Louise doesn't mind me sharing this, but I felt really bad because we would have these Zoom calls, and I just was supposed to sit in and kind of listen and throw in my 2 cents, I think, and Laurie Travis and I just kind of took over the meeting, and like one of us would say something about being a caregiver or how our husbands were going through this, and I would say, well, Nathan's doing this, and Laurie's like, so's Blake, and then she'd say Blake's doing this, and I'd be like, oh, so's Nathan. We just dominated the conversation about what we were going through in these meetings to do workshops or come up with ideas for workshops for convention. And it just, there's an excitement to know you're not alone is a huge thing.
And even though as Huntington's is as rare as it is, you're still not alone. There are other families, even though they're scattered. Even here in Mississippi, you and Nathan are not the only two walking the Huntington's road in our own state. And so I know you've been, y'all have been, the forefront of raising awareness, but you're certainly not alone in that. And so that's what that walk is all about. Make sure we get back to that. It's May 21st, and it starts at 9:30. You said 9. Don't come at 9:30. Come at 9.
We'll take you if you come at 9:30.
You don't have to be connected to Huntington's, right? I mean, this is all about raising awareness and being a part of that broader community. So give us the details on, again, Heather, how to get registered and how to be a part of it.
Well, Miss Louise mentioned HDSA. You'll go to hdsa.org/Team Hope Walk Mississippi. It's actually going to be THWMS, but that's how I remember it, is to say out Team Hope Walk Mississippi. And you can start your own team. You can join a team. I highly recommend the Wilmoth Warriors because, well, we need walkers on our team. But yeah, plenty of teams to choose from. Or if you don't want to join a team, if you don't really want to walk, you can donate. And there's a donate button there that you can just donate to the walk and just help us, because the money that's raised at these, and Miss Louise is probably better to explain this about what the money and everything that gets raised from these goes back into the community to help. Miss Louise, I'm going to let you take this part over.
But to help, it would help others, yeah.
Yeah, so every dollar that is raised by one of HDSA's events helps support all of our mission programs. So that's everything from the Centers of Excellence in Mississippi and Alabama to massive educational events like our convention. And Heather, you were absolutely invited to be a part of that committee because we need to make sure that all of those sessions resonate for families who are affected by HD. So, I wanted you to be loud, and you were. I love that. But it is, so important that the support goes to keep the care and the connection and the work towards a cure going. We often talk about Huntington's disease being the devil of all diseases. It's like having Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and even Lou Gehrig's disease sort of all rolled into one. And in order to fight a disease that is as challenging as that, we need everybody, and events like Team Hope are a great way to shine a light on the work that we're doing and be able to get more folks involved so they can help journeys like what Heather and Nathan and so many others are going through a little less lonely and a little more hopeful. So I know that the Team Hope Walk is just going to be a fantastic morning. And is there an online auction, Heather?
No, but we are having raffles. I didn't know if I could handle the online auction for it, but I've been sharing. We've got some talented people in our that we know that have donated, and we've got merchandise from the Biloxi Shuckers. We've had a friend of ours donate some Tupperware, another friend donate some artwork. I'm going to go pick up some more raffle stuff this afternoon, and we've been really blessed.
You also talk about the work at the community level, raising awareness, but Heather, you also mentioned the state level. So it's important that our legislators also understand the importance of supporting families with Huntington's.
Exactly. And like, for example, in something like that, something else that Nathan and I have tried to help HDSA with is the Parity Act. And what the Parity Act does is it helps waive that 2-year wait for a Huntington's patient to receive Medicare, if they get Social Security disability, it waives that 6-month wait for the actual payments to start. I'm not as eloquent as Miss Louise would be about this, but we really have tried to reach out to all of our federal leaders to get help in passing the Parity Act.
Well, I can see we'll be back talking more about that at some point. Heather, round us back, though. Where do we go to sign up for the walk?
HDSA.org/THWMS for Team Hope Walk, Mississippi. It's May 21st, 9 a.m., Lakeshore Park, Brandon, Mississippi.
And we'll put that in the Good Things Facebook group. Miss Louise, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for raising awareness of HD.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got Tasty Tuesday coming up next.